Welcome back to the Trick Talking Meat podcast. I'm your host, Brother John, and with me always, sidekick, co-host, partner extraordinaire, Spoiled Bat.
Good afternoon, y'all.
Again, it's a very strange day. We're actually doing this in the early afternoon as opposed to the evening. There's sunshine coming into the Quark's Barn Gaming Emporium.
Beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. It's a beautiful fall day. It's 70 degrees outside in the south. What's not to love other than the racism and the hillbillies and the bullshit that goes along with living in the South?
Yeah.
So, just kind of a farting around episode today. What are you looking for Christmas this year? That was kind of something I was thinking about earlier.
Looking forward to?
Yeah, what are we getting for Christmas this year?
Oh, what am I getting? Well,
What's the wish list? Even though you're so very naughty, as Josh tells me.
I asked for like at least the big ones is a record player.
Record player.
I really want
Going
a record
back to
player.
vinyl, huh?
Yep, I kind of wanna. And the vinyls themselves are like almost more expensive. The ones that I want, at least, are more expensive than the record players I've actually picked out.
It's the bullshit part about vinyl, though, man, because the vinyls are wickedly expensive these days. And don't get me wrong, they're worth it. I mean, it's cool, but like I could go to the flea market or the thrift store and find them for like 50 cents a piece. You know,
I used to find them for free outside of a Second in Charles.
Yeah, they used to just dump that garbage stuff out on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, free stuff found at Second and Charles.
Fleetwood
vinyls, Fleetwood Mac, George Michael vinyls.
I would take all that.
Oh yeah, we did.
We did.
They actually had that in a free bin.
Oh, and there was was it Danzig, like porn comic that Danzig did or something like that?
Did we get one?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yeah, that was in there.
Then that's in your collection then, because it's not in mine.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is.
It's probably with all your heavy metals.
Because I found it and I was like, what is this? They just put this in the free bin where anyone can go. And I was showing it off to like all my friends, like, dude, did you even know Danzig did this?
I had a porn comic?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I've got a graphic novel of
like a hentai, like a
I can't remember who wrote it
raunchy.
and did it, but my brother Drew gave me a graphic novel where like Glenn Danzig and Henry Rollins teamed up as superheroes. And it's awesome. It's out in the garage. I have to let you borrow that, man. It's good stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah, I never find anything good in those like freebie bins in front of Second and Charles.
I'm someone who does really well in thrift stores. Like thrift stores and secondhand shops and stuff like that. If I'm looking for something, usually I can find it.
Yeah, that's horseshit, because every time I go into a Goodwill or somewhere, you know, I see these assholes on videos, like on Facebook, like, oh man, I found an entire bag of vintage G.I. Joe for like $1.50. And that never happens to me. I never get anything
Sneakers I'm wearing right now.
Okay, those are fresh as hell.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
I got those for like $10 at one of the thrift stores.
She's got that thrift store
size.
Yeah.
That like everybody is the same average size as you.
Yeah. I have the luck.
And whatever she's looking for, she's gonna find.
Right.
And then some shit she's not even looking for.
But it's amazing.
When I used to cosplay a lot more, that's when I went to the thrift stores a lot. Because if you needed like the coolest thing I got is like a Two-Face jacket and suit my mom helped me make. Because she's a seamstress, so I just bought the white and the black suit and cut them in half. And so that was pretty cool. And oddly enough, I actually found a sport jacket that fits me because my gargantuan ass can't buy anything off there. Man, y'all. But it ain't funny.
I can't help it. I'm tiny.
You know how awesome it'd be to go to like a Sears does Sears even exist? A Walmart or a Target or something, and actually be able to buy pants off a rack.
That's true.
Not happening.
Well, see, I've got the opposite problem. I am a size that everyone is, so I can never find shit because it's sold out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
so I have to go online and wait 2 weeks for it to come in.
And I think the continued here in America our sizing, it's because now everything seems to be Asian sized. I ordered a shirt for my daughter and it was a 2X large, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe it'll shrink, and I swear that thing came in large.
Yeah. Yeah. I learned that lesson buying stuff from Uniqlo.
Yeah, Uniqlo.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no such thing as big and tall. It's just fat ass.
Yeah.
They're full of shit. There's nothing in there for a tall person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there used to be in those big and tall sections. There used to be because my brother's pretty tall,
right?
And he used to have to go to the big and tall sections to find pants long enough.
Yeah, because
Sure.
he's got really long legs.
And yeah,
Well, that's it. That's
then
me.
all of a
I'm
sudden
all
the
legs.
waist size just vanished one day.
So everything I have to wear has to get it custom ordered from like, American Eagle outfit, whatever, website.
Any of those
Dickies.
places that say they do the hemming. Yeah.
Meanwhile, half my wardrobe is all thrift store stuff.
Every time I go to a movie set, I have to drag like half of my clothes with me in the trunk of my car because the wardrobe lady's undoubtedly going to be like, "No, we have it." I'm like, "No, you don't." You don't. I did a movie called Front Runner, and I argued with this asshole for like half an hour. And we went through the entire wardrobe trailer just to find any pants that would fit at that point. It was ridiculous. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, like, it's not going to happen. You just better use the shit I brought. And eventually he got pissed off and gave up. He's like, go get your bag of clothes. You're trying to do something from like the 1980s, which I don't think he understands. I haven't bought new clothes since the 1980s.
Yeah, right.
And because I'm still wearing, I had a house fire in 2006, but I do have a small selection of stuff I had at my mom's house. So I'm still rocking T-shirts that I was wearing in like junior high school.
Yep.
And that was almost 20-something years ago, man. Like.
Yep. Same. Most like the clothes. I'm having to go through all my clothes and like give up some for charity and everything. And most of it is clothes that I have had since junior high. And I can actually fit into it too.
Were you hot in junior high?
No, I was very.
Was she?
I was very goofy looking.
She says she was goofy looking.
Right. But she had that nerd chic thing going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's just being modest. I knew she was just with us.
When her mother was like first showing me like pictures. Oh, here's photos of her like back when we were in high school.
She had nerd chic,
and she was talking about like, oh yeah, I was goofy looking. I was like,
have,
I would have hit on
shit?
you immediately.
Yeah. Did she have like blue hair and all that shit, like the
no? But it was like
that
shit? like the punk rock shortcut.
Yeah, like the little pixie cuts and shit.
Yeah, like it was a little bit longer, but yeah,
you were full of shit.
Wearing like Jinko jeans and stuff. It's like, yeah, I would have absolutely. You would have never been single.
I had buck teeth and acne. I mean,
you were still adorable.
Yeah, I mean, some chicks get that nerd chic thing, and don't think I'm an asshole out there in internet land because I've just known you for like
you've known me for a long time,
and your husband. So yeah. This is not a flirt, assholes.
Nah.
Just leave me. Just giving credit where credit's due. There's a difference. Where I was a tall, lankety all my entire life, it ain't never paid off until I got into the film business. I'm still a tall, lankety.
I mean, I know a lot of guys, like the guys that we hung out with, had crushes on me. I knew that, but like, I'm like most of the time.
Did they play D&D? Did they read comic books?
Yes.
Okay, then they would have had a boner for damn near anything with a pulse and stood upright.
Yeah, they had a chant around the time of it was a modified Obama campaign thing.
Right.
Allie's tits, yes we cans, or
Oh,
yes
God,
her cans.
that's right.
Yeah,
we cans.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think that
forget about that.
I've had this conversation with several of my friends that own businesses in the comic book related field and toys and whatnot. And they'll always tell me, like, when business is slow, I'm like, well, dude, do you have a hot chick working in the front counter? No. Then what the is wrong with you? You gotta have a hot chick working at the comic book store. You gotta give nerds like a fledgling hope that they're gonna get laid someday. Yeah. It's not gonna be her, but it's just the idea that they could go in and actually.
Like, oh, they exist.
Yeah.
It's like I have a reason to go talk to the hot chick without actually talking to the hot chick.
I think that's the reason why Stan never hired me, was because he knew that I knew way too much.
Oh, no, Comics never had a chick working there, did they?
Sarah.
No, they had Sarah.
That was.
He had Albert, and he had Roscoe, and he had.
Yeah, he had like the
Jason.
Full. I think he still had Cam even at that point.
Yeah.
That's he had a full house. But yeah, it was, and then to top it off, you were making more money with your other job anyway.
Yeah.
Where were you like stripping
I
in the
hated
evenings,
it
or?
though. No, I was at a bank.
That probably would have made more money. But next.
So you were making it rain just with your clothes on.
No, I was only getting $9 an hour.
Oh.
It wasn't really that much.
Yeah, but what was that, like, what, 2005, something like that?
Yeah, around that.
Yeah, so that's good money back when you're like a 20-something-year-old.
Yeah.
You know, you're still living at home with a bank of mom. I mean, that ain't bad.
Yeah, sometimes I think I'm like, gee, where would I be if I actually took that permanent position? And I'm like thinking I would be hating my life right now because I would be stuck in a cubicle.
Ducks.
The ducks. I know. The ducks.
The ducks.
Oh, there's a story.
So after Blockbuster had its, shit itself, shit the bed,
right,
shit everything.
The second time.
The second time. I found myself. I was like, where the am I gonna work? I tried what was it? Sam Goody for the brief amount of time it was around.
Sure.
I tried working at like a used movies, games, replays.
Right.
I worked at one of those for a while, and then that building got shut down. That particular spot,
right.
And the manager was like, "Yeah, we'll
get you a job.
I'll get you some. I'll take care of you. Don't worry. Just hang tight."
Yeah, I was the other manager.
Yeah, never heard
anything back from him
so
at all.
We both started temping, and that's how she ended up in an office, and I ended up in an office, and I bounced around a few different offices, a few jobs that were okay. I ended up stuck in one that they were like, "Oh, well, this is like, it's temp, and we're going to be the ones cutting you the check, but they want you indefinitely."
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
So it just seems like they were trying to screw you by not having to give you benefits or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you did a great job, and we really want you to be around, but we're not going to pay you what we should be paying you, and we're not going to give you any health insurance or
Exactly.
That job was
slave wages.
Yeah, that job was miserable.
Right.
And that building was right next to a lake.
I've always worked in retail, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I
couldn't work an office gig. I gotta keep moving.
I mean, with retail, you get pissed off. You can go into the back, smoke a cigarette. It's no big deal.
Right.
You get pissed off someone in an office setting. There is no escape.
You stew.
There is no escape.
I don't think I'd do well.
I worked around a lot of catty bitches.
Yeah. But I mean, that was one of the things that I had to deal with. But
my wife said that working in an office is a lot like a quilting circle, just shit talking all day long,
constantly.
Just
and it's going to be the
Karen's
little shit.
It's going to be the little shit that doesn't even mean anything,
Yeah, but so every day at lunch, since it was next to the lake, I would go down to this bench by the lake, sit down, eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich or turkey sandwich or whatever I was eating that day.
Feed the crust.
And I would feed the crust to, I would just toss it at the ducks, even though a big sign, don't feed the ducks. Everyone feeds the ducks. That's why they're there.
Eat a dick. I'm feeding the duck.
Right.
There was this one duck with like a gimpy foot.
That's a good slogan.
Duck with a gimpy foot?
No.
Eat a dick.
I'm going to feed the ducks?
Yeah, no, but the thing he said, it kind of rhymed. Don't give a fuck, feed the duck.
I don't give a I'm going to feed the
Yeah, that's it.
There you go. There's a T-shirt there. It's going to be on Patreon next month. Anyway, go on. So you'd feed your ducks.
So I would feed this specific duck. Like I would, toss bread off to the corner to
because
get
he's
the other
fucked
ducks to off, and I would, feed this guy because
he's probably having trouble.
They're beating up on him, bullying him. I'm like, what the is this? Grade school? Anyway, I would feed this duck so much that he actually would, whether I was giving the food out or not, climb up on the bench and sit down next to me.
Right.
Like I was able to pet this duck and everything. Like
right.
He just chilled with me, and I would just, pop him some food. Other ducks started coming up. I was like, no, off. You had your chance.
That duck, even in the animal kingdom, they recognized that you were a loser.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So I'm sitting there. I've got my duck buddy. I'm talking to him, eating my sandwich, and a sudden epiphany hit me. I was like, this is the best part of my day at this job.
Right.
I'm going to kill myself if I don't find something else.
Yep.
If this is the best part of my day,
he used to tell me this stories about the ducks when he came home from work.
Yes, I was the duck guy.
He was making up all these I
was 23 and a duck guy.
Right, like that. You were one step away from like having a hurt squirrel in your pocket and like
Yeah,
counting
Jesus.
carpet shags and.
God, yeah, it was a
Stories
mess.
of the duck hierarchy.
So
I mean, it's...
like a couple weeks after that, I got the flu, and it was like really bad. It lasted
Yeah,
for weeks.
that was
So
really
I
bad.
used that as a mass exodus. I was like, sorry, yeah, I don't know when this flu is gonna end. You know, you're gonna find someone else.
You're like, oh bullshit, he
And
just didn't want to work.
I off and found something else as fast as I could.
You know, it's weird you say that though, because I had a beagle named Old Brody Kenobi.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
You remember,
that's right.
you remember
yeah.
Brody?
remember
Yeah.
Brody.
You were around for Brody.
Yeah.
But Brody was weird, man, because he would go outside, and honestly, I didn't name him that. I had an ex-girlfriend that named him Brody, but I just called him Old Brody Kenobi. But I wanted to name him Dude. 'Cause
Nice.
my dad had a Jack Russell named Buddy, so I was going to name mine Dude. Because I mean, every time I saw him, I'd be like, "Dude, get off the couch. Dude, get out of that. Dude, that ain't." Anyway,
Nice.
but Old Brody Kenobi, he would go outside and pee when I was living out in Trust Vegas, and there was like two small pond lake type things. I lived in like a figure-8 neighborhood, and the ducks would come over, and they weren't like normal ducks. It was like the ugly ass ones, like the vulture-looking
Oh
ducks.
yeah.
But I don't know what kind of weird animal kingdom thing was going on with them because they would come and visit Brody at the back fence like every day, like at 4:15, like clockwork.
I love animal stories.
And they would come all the way down the street, and I would let Brody out, and he would go to the back fence, and they would just stare at each other through the fence for like a solid 10 minutes. Weren't making any noise or barking or anything, just staring at each other. And the ducks would get single file, and they'd just go walk back down to the fence. And then at one point, they had babies, and they would start bringing the babies up to the fence. It'd be like, 6, 7 little baby chick ducks or whatever coming up with the mama duck, and they would all like visit. And I don't know what was being some unspoken weird thing going on,
That's adorable.
and people don't believe it. I have video. I will show you
I
after the
believe
podcast
it.
today. We will put it on
Animals
Patreon or
do
something.
Weird
Oh, yeah, man.
shit.
I still have video of on my phone of that shit. They would come right up into the carport, right up to the gate or the back door, because I had like a kitchen door in the carport. If he wasn't outside, they would come up to the back door and just hang out and wait.
It's why, like, if like anybody says that animals have no souls or anything
feelings.
like that,
Yeah, you're full of shit.
and like I'm like bullshit. I'm not gonna believe any of that because they do these things, and they make friends with each other when they shouldn't be friends at all, and it's like.
There's some weird,
You
like I
gotta
said,
wonder.
unspoken thing going on
Yeah.
with these animals.
Yeah.
Like I had cats. My cats go into depression after her partner had we had to put down, and then like a couple weeks after we put down my cat, we had to put down my dog too. And so
He was so bummed out.
My poor cat. Well, this is a cat that she liked to be pet, but she didn't like to be held. She didn't like. Once she was done with you petting her, she'd be all like, I'm done, and she'll skitter off. But she became like so loving and cuddly and wanted to be on your lap and everything like that. She loved to be held all after this, and I'm like, it's because she
needed the emotional support.
she was mourning too, so it's crazy. Animals do some weird shit, and I think it's amazing.
Kelly,
I love animals.
Kelly and I talk about getting a second dog, but I don't know if Rocket's such a bitch. I don't think
Yeah.
she's like a half Chihuahua, half Yorkie, and they only like the one person.
Well, it's like I want.
Oddly enough, she likes both of us, but I don't know if she'd do well with another dog this late in the game.
Like the Yorkie we watch.
They say it's a Chorkie, but I think it's a Yeehawk.
She, like, everybody is her person. Like, she is so.
She does have a hierarchy, though.
But she does have a hierarchy.
There's an alpha male and then everyone else.
Yeah.
And who is it?
His mother.
His mom. Well, that's it, because my mom had a Chihuahua, too, named Sparky, and he didn't like anybody but my mom. He would snap at everybody. And the other dogs in the house didn't give a shit.
But it's like,
Human.
I want an animal so bad. I don't know if I don't care if it's a cat or a ferret or a dog or,
You don't want a ferret. Ferrets stink.
I love ferrets. I had one before.
Yeah, ferrets and guinea pigs, man. Those things smell. The whole fucking
anything
She had both of those things.
I've had guinea
and
pigs
did it
too.
not?
I've had 2 guinea pigs.
Did it not?
I've had rabbits, I've had gerbils, I've had hamsters.
Josh
We don't
has
want
had
to tell
gerbils.
the stories about the hamster or the gerbils.
Richard Gere had a gerbil once.
Wow.
That's merely speculation.
That
I'm going to hell.
that's awful.
We went from a polite, happy conversation.
What do you want? Hey, what do you want for Christmas? Richard Gere ass gerbils.
So, I mean, coming back to that, there have been, like, the ones that I put on my wish list are really cool. There's one that's called the Burger, and it's like a sandwich of a player, and you...
Okay. I was like, wait, what the
What
are we
the fuck are we
talking about
talking
again? Final
Well,
player.
I
Is this
said
like a
coming
dildo, or is this like a...
full circle to...
No, if it's a
to
burger,
the-
Oh,
it's
she's
not a
coming
dildo.
full circle, all right. But no, what? It's a turntable.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
a
okay,
but
gotcha.
it's
Okay,
like,
me and pervert over here were like 5 minutes behind you. Didn't know what the hell.
but it's just it's
Like,
this
boy, that
thing
was a 90-degree right turn in the conversation. Like, yes, I need
know.
a
I
need a
tend to
battery
forget-
operated burger.
I tend to forget
Technically
context.
20 minutes behind.
20 minutes.
I forget context.
Okay, so you.
But there's one that, like, it's so small, but it's almost like a clamshell, only it's like a little
Burger
bit longer
clamshell.
than that. So that's one that I added because I don't have a lot of room for a turntable. The other one is a vertical turntable, which I think
That one
is
did
really
look kinda
cool
cool.
too.
What,
Yeah,
it stands
right?
upright or something?
Yeah.
Like a
Like you-
PlayStation or?
Yeah,
Wow.
like you load the vinyl in and it's upright.
Yeah.
Well, how does this not?
I don't know, man.
How does the arm not?
magic?
I don't know.
I don't
Ask
know.
not these questions,
I don't
as
know.
Stanley
Yeah,
used to say.
But it's cool looking. So, I was like thinking, well, that might be something that I might be able to, have room for
I've seen these cats here lately on the internet. They were taking like PS5 Pros and gutting them and turning them into like tabletop PCs.
Oh God, that.
And it's
painful.
killer looking. No, I mean it's really rad.
Well,
looking.
yeah,
like, they
no, I
gut
know,
the
but
entire
I-
system and put it into like a little tower with all the
With-
hip
With
hop
the
lights and all that
PS5
shit.
Pro, it's like with that price tag, ooh, that's painful.
I don't know, man. If you're flipping it, man, it looked pretty cool because they have like a transparent screen so you can see the
Oh,
guts
yeah.
on the inside,
What, are
but
they
you can still
selling
have
it
like
for
car-
like $2
Yeah.
grand after that?
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah,
he's selling it
usually,
for.
yeah.
But it had like you could
Jeez.
flash like anime and stuff on the screen, but still see the inside of the. It was killer. It's like
That's pretty
transparent monitor.
I'll have to look that up. That sounds
That
pretty
It
cool.
was rad. Like I mean, I'm not like that big of a gamer where I've got to have that, but it was definitely dope as shit. I'll give him to him.
If I had money to piss, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So what about you, Duke? What are you looking for Christmas this year, other than a handy from the missus?
Eh.
It's the gift that keeps on giving. I was going to ask you what happened to your elbow, though. Is that related or?
No, no.
I've been telling you, he's too much. You've got to grab it with both hands and beat
My-
it against your forehead.
My ass has decided that she wants to do acrobatics, so I'm taking an aerial class, and we think that I just kind of pulled my elbow a little bit too much at my last class.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
There's two names for it actually. One is climber's elbow, the other is stripper's elbow.
Yeah,
Mm.
because of the
'Cause
way you
it's
have
very
to grip
similar.
the pole. Yep.
Were you working the pole? So I was right.
No,
You were
I had
working
it.
the
I
pole.
was working the ring though.
Wow. There's a little inside look into the inner life of Josh and Allie. Were you working his ring?
I'd like to point out burger, clam, ring,
Pole,
pole.
ring.
Yeah, this is just
Stripper.
stop. If it like
Y'all are the ones with the gutter minds
I
and
thought-
bringing it down to that level.
I thought-
Well, you set
mine-
it up so good. Like
I'm
it's like
too, I'm
it's
too
like
sweet
it's
for
like
that
Oregon
shit.
Trail. Like the little deer is running across the screen. You just hit that space
I'm-
bar and fire. You know,
I am too sweet and precious for that shit. Okay,
I'm
like
glad it's still shorts weather because the bullshit's getting deep in the bar here today.
I mean, I'd like to like when we were like, hey, what are we gonna talk about? And I was like, oh, I got an idea. I thought I was bad with what my idea was.
what was your idea?
What was
by
your
the
idea
way?
for today?
Nothing compared to what you've dished out. I was gonna say, oh, did you hear they're getting rid of the come and go?
Oh yeah, yeah.
well, yeah.
I bought 2 T-shirts just to make sure I had an ample supply. Because it wouldn't be the same at a family gathering if I didn't wear a come and go T-shirt.
Right?
Actually, weirdly enough, my nephew, me, and my brother-in-law all wore them last year at Christmas, and I just out of happenstance.
Like
That's
just this
funny.
perfect moment for
What are they turning?
family
What are they
portrait.
turning Come and Go into?
I don't know. Are they changing the
Shit.
name or
Yeah,
something?
they're changing the name. I forget what they said they were changing it to.
They're turning it into Rub and Tug.
Yeah.
Mostly because the thing I was watching where they were talking about it, they were offering like joke alternate names,
Right.
and it's so I can't remember what the actual thing was going to be, but I guess the
Did they change the name because of people thought it was offensive?
Yeah.
Like some Karen got pissed off?
Well,
or is it just
that was half of their,
their gimmick?
yeah,
The Come and Go.
You don't
embraced
spell
it.
come and go. I mean, granted, it starts with a K. You don't spell it CU like
M.
like UM.
Right.
Unless you mean something very specific.
Yeah.
Right.
No, they knew what they were doing.
Oh, they totally knew what they were doing.
English
Don't do that
language
shit.
has spelling differences for a reason.
Right? That's what makes us so damn complex.
Switching to the Jesus water. But yeah, it's like what was it, a year or two ago when Arby's got in trouble for the "We Have the Meats" ads.
Yeah.
Because
for
some Karen got
reason.
pissed off and thought it was
Yeah.
offensive, so it went
Oh,
from "We have the
yeah.
meats" for buns, and I thought that was so much worse, you know. And now I think they've had to change it yet a third time to "We have the meats for sandwiches," you know.
What? Okay. So, us sitting here taking things out of context, laughing.
I mean, I never went into
But-
the Arby's and asked for a beef curtain sandwich. I mean,
Oh,
come on.
But I mean, like we have the meats. Like, come on, that's a stretch.
I do have the beef and cheddar at home that I forgot to eat before.
We have the
came
meats, and
here.
that's a stretch.
What?
Really? You're gonna like dump on your wife, but like,
Oh, what else?
No, I'm just saying, like, for someone to get offended over that's
right?
Yeah.
that's a stretch.
That's really
you created your own offense.
Yeah. No, that's half the part of people taking offense and these Karens going off on stupid shit. It's
like
like
we have nothing
it's
better to
like,
deal
it's
with
a
in the
name.
world today.
Who the F cares? Like,
Don't eat at Arby's.
right?
Don't eat at Arby's anyway. I mean,
yeah, no one is paying you to look at it or anything like that. No one's forcing you to read those things.
I'm pretty sure every state of the few that actually has a come and go also has a Buc-ee's. You don't want to go there? Go to the Buc-ee's.
right.
The
I was
fucking Buc-ee's.
I was actually.
Buc-ee's.
I was all the way where, like in northern Arkansas. I thought that was like a Florida thing, and I saw Come and Go. When I went to a show up there, I'm like going, God damn, they got out this far? Like, they coming all over the place, I guess. And
Can't
going.
remember. I've only seen one, and I can't remember where it was now.
It had to probably be Florida.
It was.
It might have been Florida.
I
It's
want to
kind
say
of a
we
chain
saw
around
one
the
on the road
southeast.
trip up to the.
Yeah, but we took the road trip up
up north. Yeah.
How do you convince an
New
investor too? By the way, like, hey, yeah, we got this great idea for a gas station. It's called Come and Go. You know, it's some juvenile delinquent like brat kid that's got daddy's money that invested in that company.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They probably made more off the T-shirts than they did anything else.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping we do. But this podcast, buy the T-shirts, man.
Right. Support us.
Yes. The what was it? What the I'm feeding a duck?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yourself and feeding the duck.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know. We'll come up with something.
Well, the sound bite's on there.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll have to go
it's in
back.
there.
We'll listen to this stupid episode like 3 times before it ever makes
listen.
air. And
I'll
like,
listen.
hey, there it is. That's a
It'll come
T-shirt.
back to me. It'll.
You're gonna have to draw like a
me.
little rubber duck,
Right. Yeah.
a little gimp duck, in honor of Josh's friend,
Yeah.
his only friend
Little
apparently.
gimpy duck.
Yeah. It's actually I'm kind of disappointed in myself here. Almost like decades later, it's going through my head. He was a lame duck.
He was a lame duck.
lame duck.
Oh my
What?
god.
How did that not pop into my head
Until now, like
decades
15
ago?
years later,
There's a
What the hell were we
there's
talking
Ophelia
about?
for everything.
we've been trying to get what
Everybody was wanting for
Jay
the
wants
holiday.
for Christmas.
Yeah, how the hell did we get off that? What do you want for Christmas?
I don't know. Camera.
Please don't say
Yeah.
peace and goodwill toward man.
I have no clue. I don't know. Video games.
No, you
camera.
said camera.
Yeah.
You said
But
camera
my
was
own
was
my
one
own
of the
PlayStation,
top things.
maybe.
Your own playset.
Yeah.
That implies that you had
have...
one and then it got misappropriated to someone else in the household.
No, I bought it for her as an anniversary present.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But it is.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were totally being an Indian giver.
No, I would just play it occasionally. Now I can't play it at all.
Well, maybe not as much as I do.
Because of Dragon Age? Is that what we...
Well, lately, yes.
I think we've talked about that in every single episode.
Yeah,
We've had to
I'm
bring up
still
Dragon
not
Age.
done. I am still not done. I just finished Act 2 like 2 days ago. I'm eager, but I know things now, and I wish I didn't know things.
I wish I didn't know things. Jesus Christ, you guys are both sickos.
C'est la vie.
Mm.
I'm going to be doing a lot of editing.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, leave it all in there.
Are.
Well, I'm just thinking about the number of times that has been dropped.
Oh, well, there's another one.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
35 minutes in, I'm going to be...
35 minutes in, and we've dropped like 25 F-bombs. I'm glad we got an unedited version of this.
See,
subscribe to hear the unedited
That's
version.
Yeah.
To hear the really raw version of it.
Yeah.
To hear all the reasons why John is switching.
To hear all those dirty stories.
All the dirty... Why is it always me with the dirty story?
I wasn't
the
saying
other
about
one
the
who
dirty
has
stories.
it.
That was her.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be pointing a finger at me. I didn't do it. Not this week.
No, not this week. You started things, though, man.
We just drew attention to how just morally corrupt you are. That's all.
I'm not morally corrupt. I'm a sweetheart.
Now, see, I am deprived of morals. There's a difference.
No
they expect
inhibitions.
that shit from me, you know? Way to be ladylike there, Miss Thing.
What can I say?
So, nothing really special well, you're naughty anyway. You're not getting dick. You're not getting anything.
I wish I was getting dick at least. That'd be something.
Whoa. Gentle pegging is nothing new to him, my friends.
Don't think it's from me.
Thanks for tuning in this week.
Camera is really the only thing on my list.
You do want a camera really bad.
Like a camera or like a
good
like one of these
camera.
or
like a good.
No, we
like
have one of those.
And it kind of pisses me off. Well, okay, it doesn't piss me off because it means what I originally wanted will be cheaper. But like yesterday, Sony announced their new Alpha 1, 2 or something like that.
Right. Just some kind of weird shiznit camera thing.
50 megapixel sensor.
The one you liked was out of date like 5-10 minutes after they released it to the public.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one he wants offers features that the SLR cameras that I have don't necessarily have it.
Mirrorless. It's a mirrorless camera.
Yeah, he wants a mirrorless. And one that can do video.
They're nice. They're very nice.
Well, yeah, he's very nice.
He's a very nice.
As the Frenchman would say.
What
We've
about
already
you,
got
man?
one. Me?
What about you?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even think about it. You know what? My wife, she gave up on that stuff. She's like, you buy your shit yourself anyway all year long. What's the point?
I think that's the stance my mother's taken.
It's kind of the boat I find myself in. People are like, "Oh, what do you want?" I'm like, "I don't want anything." Like there's shit I want, but you don't want to know because that camera, for example, is $7,000.
Yeah, good luck with that.
That ain't happening. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. Now, it's funny too because my entire family's like, I don't know whatever get you for Christmas. I'm like, I'm the biggest nerd kid on the planet. Like a G.I. Joe or a He-Man figure or any number of that, and they're like, just go to Target and throw a dart at something on the toy aisle. They're like, well, I'm afraid you've already got it. And I'm like, so what? Just get another one.
A bubblegum statue of frickin' Picard. I mean,
who
you'd be
cares?
happy with that shit.
It's got a little Star Trek logo on it. I'm probably going to dig it. I don't care what it is.
My family for the past few years has like they're like, oh well, don't know what he wants, So yeah, they just go to the store, Kohl's or Walmart, wherever. It's like, oh hey, a Star Wars shirt. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, that works. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I think you have a shirt on for the game behind me.
Yeah, I do.
That's actually kind of ironic.
I do. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah, it's the old school Star Wars Vector game, Vector graphics.
Man, I remember playing that in one
man.
of the pods.
Oh God, yeah.
Games.
Now, when I was a kid,
Fun Spot up in New Hampshire had it.
When I was a kid, we had the Tron game was my favorite, and it's sitting right there. But
God,
they had the environmental Tron that you actually got inside.
Yeah.
It was full of black lights and it was discs
That's
of Tron.
cool.
So awesome.
That's
disc
cool.
battle.
Yeah.
It didn't never fit in here, but
Little shit hole in the wall arcade in Mississippi.
sure.
Yeah, they had the sit down Tron.
Yep.
And had a.
That was the
I had a
environmental
sit down
Tron.
too of the Star Wars arcade one too.
Yeah, that was the sit down was the environmental Tron, I think.
Yeah.
It's like a big giant cabinet. You kind of got inside of it, and you had the little wheel to throw the discs
great.
and stuff.
It's like one of my favorite things.
We had gold mines. I think we've talked about this in the video game episode. We had gold mines when I was growing up in Missouri.
yeah,
It looked like the inside of a mine shaft or whatever. They had all the little games in the little rock
crazy.
coves. It was pretty rad.
Yeah, the only one I know is with the cabinet like that was the Star Wars up in New Hampshire.
Well, they had the Afterburner game too. That was like, it was a big ass cockpit of an F-14 or whatever.
Yeah.
They don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't.
No.
They really don't.
Let's see. What would I want for Christmas? McFarlane Toys has got a Batman Forever Batmobile. That thing's pretty dope.
Nice.
Comes with an Alfred from the movie, which is the only cool thing in the movie was
Well-
Alfred in the Batmobile, and not Val Kilmer.
Well, 1/8.
Huh?
1/8.
Right. I think Ringside Collectibles. I told them I wanted like an Outsiders exclusive pack, the Wolf pack, in the house
Nice.
NWO. I'm dumb. If I had $100, I spent 99 of it on little tiny shit instead of saving for something good.
I'm with you on that.
I mean,
Most of the stuff that I want is like not like my family likes to order off of Amazon because it's just it's easier
my
that
parents
way.
are elderly
but half
too.
the stuff that I want
You got
is
someone who's out of town. It's the easiest way to get it to them
is.
because you
Yeah,
buy
you
and
just send it
ship all at
straight.
once.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost you extra money to mail it. And it
Yeah,
doesn't
like
have-
if I go out to Walmart and buy a family member in Texas a T-shirt, I'm gonna be dropping more to ship that to them than I did for the.
It's going to take another $10 on top of whatever you spend just to mail the stupid thing out there.
That's why you mail multiple things at one time.
But I'm very much against online shopping. Unless it's like a store exclusive, you can't get it anywhere but online. I hate that shit because as a toy collector, like the thrill is the hunt, man.
Yeah.
Like you go to 4 or 5 Walmarts disappointed because they got nothing but garbage and peg warmers. And then you find that one figure after a whole day of that shit. You're like, yes, I am successful. And it's going to go into a Rubbermaid tub in the garage. Never to be seen or heard from again.
Early days of doing that, I remember. And it's something I really need to see a therapist, I think. Because this sticks with me. As like almost a bordering on guilt thing. But then, my mother gave me the whole story.
You need
anyway,
to see someone.
Tracking down like the Batman animated series figures,
like from '92.
Yeah,
like the OG ones from
Yes.
Kenner. Yeah, no, I have a set of those. Those are dope.
When they came out with the first Robin.
Oh yeah,
figure,
like you couldn't get them anywhere.
Nowhere.
No, it was him and the penguin.
With the,
you couldn't
with the flat
find.
top.
No, because you couldn't find the penguin either.
Yeah,
Like, you talk about like the single card job. Yeah, you couldn't find him and Ra's al Ghul and the penguin were like the 3 figures that were like the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I tracked one down.
Right.
And like I had been spending like months. My mother had been driving me everywhere. It was one day she was like, "Oh, I gotta stop and pick up some milk." I'm like, "I'll go look." I've checked this. I've scoured this Walmart like 5 times a week for the last 2 months. What I'll take a look. I'll see if I can find it. And sure enough, I do. I find him on the back of the pegs, tucked away.
Somebody hit him.
And I'm like, oh, God.
Some other kid found it and tried to tuck it and come back later.
Someone hit it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a kid.
Yeah.
So I find it, and I'm like, oh, my God. And I clutch it close, and I find my mother, and she's like, oh, okay, well, your allowance is, Friday, but yeah, we'll go ahead and it's fine. She's like, I'll advance you. I was like, thank you. So I'm clutching onto it, and, this little voice in my head as a kid is like, like I see someone rounding a corner onto the aisle, and this little voice in my head said, "Put it behind your back." So that's what I did. I kind of like tucked it behind my back, like just like I was standing there casually, and I see this woman coming down the aisle, and she's like, she looks like she's just coughed diamonds and shit. Like she's got the designer purse on one arm.
Right.
Anyway, she's walking down and she's sort of like thumbing through the figures like casually, and she ends up like like asking me if I'd looked through any of the figures. And,
have you seen this one?
Have you seen? I think it was called Robin. And
yeah, all right.
My little boy, his birthday's this week, and there is nothing. She gave me this whole sob story.
At that point, it'd be like, well, you know what? My birthday's today, so this is my birthday present. So I mean,
but yeah, it was this whole like, and even as a kid, I was like, she's overselling this.
Yeah, there's no way.
She's way overselling this.
Yeah.
Did you keep it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, good
no,
for you,
I kept it behind my back. I was like, no, ma'am, haven't seen it.
See ya.
And like, carefully.
Did you back away, like in reverse?
Yeah,
like, all the way up the aisle.
I kind of like I didn't even do that. Like
that's because her kid probably came in there a day ahead of time or something and put it back there, and she came back to get it or something. Who knows?
Who knows? But
dude,
yeah.
I worked at Toys R Us and KB Toys as a manager for years, and I saw that shit all the time. I watched like grown men grab shit out of kids' hands.
Yeah, there's that one guy that around here that does it.
Oh, everybody knows. You might not say his name,
we all know. Yeah, we won't say his name, but we all know who he fucking is.
Who he is.
He's an asshole, but yeah, I watched him like snatch starting lineups out of women's carts. I watched him like pull stuff out of kids' hands, like in the aisle.
Yeah. Well, we've I forget if it was you I talked to in the past or if it was some of our other friends.
We had to kick them out of Toys R Us years ago.
We've established that my lifelong search for a dragon dagger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The tragedy that happened to me with that as a kid was him.
Really? Yeah. Somebody snacked it out of the cart?
No, okay, so...
You know, the Green Ranger?
Yeah.
You're a Power Rangers guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
service merchandise. You remember
right.
that,
Oh, I worked there for a couple of years.
Okay. It was service merchandise, and Dragon Dagger had come out. So
everybody in the mother wanted one.
Apparently a shit ton of boxes because the whole bottom shelf was... Right. From one end of the aisle to the other was nothing but Dragon Daggers.
Right.
I was like, holy shit.
And the dude came in and bought them all, didn't he?
So I was like, Mom. She's like, well, you don't have your money with you. And, so, well, we'll go back home and then we'll come back and you can get it.
That's why would your mom just like...
It was like 2 or 3 hours. Well, money was tight.
Well, I get it, but I guess. But I mean, even if I was like tight on cab, like as long as you tell me you've got it.
There was also the whole thing of like we just lived down the road, from the place, and there were so many. So she was like, okay, we'll go back to the house. We'll get your money. Yeah. How could that be possible? There's like 30 of these things. When we got back, all gone. Mm-hmm. Every last one of them.
And Josh's heart broke.
Heartbroken? Fast forward 20, 30, whatever many years later, they come out with the Legacy one. Special edition. So
we saw
with the
one
metal
and
plating.
We were like, he was like immediately
I didn't just
snatched.
see it. I saw it stashed behind a whole bunch of like...
Yeah.
It was hidden.
All right.
And I found it. I was like, holy shit. So I clutch it tight. I'm like, I'm buying it. We ain't got no money, but I'm buying it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
As we're leaving the store, I see him walking in.
Right.
And I'm like, oh,
and the fact that 20 years later, he's still doing it.
Let him effing see. I would gloat that
20 years later, he's still fucking doing it. Yeah, no,
you know what's weird? Because when I was working at Toys R Us years ago, I got part of the remodel crew. And you'd go in there and like we would re-gut stores and rebuild them and make them look pretty again and new shelving and all that shit. Yeah. But when we would pull the shelves up, you would see all the crap people would hide underneath the base deck shelf of the aisle.
And then not come back.
Oh man, yeah, and they never would come back. So it's like old Star Wars figures and Muscle Man and just all kinds of shit from the 80s. And they wouldn't let us have any of it. We had to take it to the dumpster and destroy it. If it wouldn't ring up, it had to be destroyed. It drove me nuts. Like here's a bunch of I would find piles of like vintage Return of the Jedi figures, just mask stuff, old OG Ninja Turtles up under the decks, and just They've been sitting there collecting dust for forever.
However long.
They did that shit. Okay, so when I was working at Suncoast Videos in our mall, our local mall, they had a Warner Brothers store next door.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And when they went out of business, they destroyed all that shit too. Like they had a clearance thing and everything at the end. When they finally closed the doors, everything left was taken out back and destroyed. All the film cells, the paintings, all those cool displays up around the ceiling of like Batman and Superman and the Gremlins. All that shit got just sledgehammers taken to it, man. It was breaking my heart.
That's...
One of those Gremlins survived.
Oh, there's several of them out there. I'm sure not every store followed the rules, but the ones next door to me were being tight asses. Yeah. They were not out. I'm like, dude, just put it in the dumpster. I'll slip you a couple $100 and I'll come back and get it.
I mean that specific one of those Gremlins survived.
Oh, I'm sure.
I saw it. One of the guys that worked there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, how did you have a gremlin? He goes, hey, remember when? I was like, oh shit.
Right.
Yeah.
Disney store, same thing. When that place went under, they just destroyed a bunch of stuff.
Do things like that.
It's just such a waste. You could have at least donated it to charity or something, auction it off, do something.
Seriously. I mean, send it back.
Charity,
send it back
orphanage,
to manufacturer or whatever.
Children's hospital. Don't.
Yeah, go decorate a playroom in the children's hospital with it or something. Who knows, man?
I mean, you got freaking.
What was the best thing you ever got for Christmas? As we wind this thing down.
Oh, Sega Genesis.
Sega Genesis.
Good one. That was because
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
Yeah, that was I want to say around the same time, like within a couple of years, like the Robin, like my family. I don't know where the my parents got the money to just drop on a Sega Genesis.
Right.
But they did, and it was like one of the ones that was like loaded with like the extra games and stuff.
Right. You got Altered Beast and Sonic.
Eternal Champions.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it wasn't just the Sega; it was the Sega and the 32X.
Oh, nice. Okay, so, I beta tested that thing.
Really?
Yeah, 32X and the Sega CD when I was a high school kid in Longmont, Colorado.
Oh yeah. We talked.
Yeah, they were doing that in Boulder. They would grab a busload of you and take you to this little spot in Boulder, and you'd go into a cubicle and play video games. You got paid for it. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really got paid. I got bribed to beta test stuff.
I grew up in.
I don't know if it was necessarily beta testing, more of like, hey, does this game suck or not?
Yeah.
Would you buy this for $40-$50? No, the Sewer Shark shucks. I think that's why it came with the CD.
Yeah, they used to bring like old not old toys, but newer toys and everything like that from Hasbro.
Yeah, because you were in Rhode Island, right? I mean, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Yep.
Home of Hasbro
for now.
But apparently they're about to move. Yeah. They were going to move to Boston.
Yep.
Everyone's
moving to Massachusetts.
Yeah, and everything. It pisses everybody off because a lot of local jobs are going to get lost.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like that's what Pawtucket has. I mean,
that was their claim.
That's all there really is in like that would bring in like that much money.
Kenner was in Cincinnati. Was that?
Huh?
Was Kenner in Cincinnati, Ohio?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
was going to say
because I used to write them letters as a kid.
Right.
Please make Star Wars toys again.
Yeah.
I used to write them hate letters. What about you? What's the best thing you ever got for Christmas?
Well, I had basically it was like the best Christmas.
She's gonna rub it in.
Yep.
Well, no, and this is the reason why.
There
were two things. There were two things that I got. One was the Super Nintendo.
Right.
Which was awesome. But as much as
I'm thinking spoiled.
As much as I was excited about having the Super Nintendo, right next to it was X-Men Unlimited number 1, 2, and 3 that my dad had gotten for me for Christmas. Right. And those are the first comic books I ever got.
Good choice.
I have to say, as a nerd, going back to earlier discussions, I don't think I've ever been more turned on in my life.
Her best Christmas of all time was a Super Nintendo and a stack of comics. It's jerk-off material right there. It just went from 6 to midnight in the Clark's Bar in Emporium.
Oh, God.
Somebody's getting some later after the show's over, but y'all wait till you go back to your own house and do that shit. There's a guest room, but I ain't watching the sheets. Anyway,
what about you, John?
Best Christmas thing I ever got ever? Now, we didn't have a lot of money either, but, but my mom was a Toys R Us manager, so there's a flip side that, Santa was always really good to us because Mom and Dad were never home. They were always working, but they definitely made up for it And I think my dad told me a long time ago, he said, you may not have had everything you ever wanted, but you had everything you needed. And that makes sense to me now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of touching at the same time,
Yeah.
I have to, I won't go back. I'll just say that kind of reminded me of a Christmas that I kind of forgot about because I forgot that it was a Christmas present. I used to live in Orlando, right? Family worked at Disney, whole 9 yards, had friends,
Does everybody pretty much that lives in Orlando that doesn't have like a desk job work at Disney?
Even if you have a desk job, you're working for the
Disney
mouse.
subsidiary. Something associated with Disney or for Disney or works in the park at Disney.
Disney keeps Orlando afloat.
Florida.
So
afloat.
What's crazy though, as a side note, there's the most racist place I've ever seen is south of the border in South Carolina. I think it was South Carolina. It's an amusement park, but it's a Mexican themed amusement park. No, look it up on Google.
My God.
It's still open. It's called South of the Border, and it's the most gloriously racist place I think I've ever seen. I didn't stop. I wish I did because I was on my way to a con, but this place, I mean, it's like there's like a 5-story Mexican in a sombrero like out front of their gate. And it's like giant neon lit teepees, and all their rides are like La Cucaracha type stuff. You can see all this from the freeway. I'm not lying to you. Look this up.
No, I believe you. I've seen Uranus. I believe you.
No, well, I stopped at I stopped in Uranus. Half the shit in this bar came from Uranus.
I wonder if Gabriel Iglesias knows about that place.
No, so this place south of the border, and I had to ask because I mean, obviously there's a story behind this. And the guy told me at the con, he said, yeah, actually that was supposed to be the original site for Disney World. I guess Walt Disney, it was tribal land. Disney, short of it, came in and said, we want to buy this. The Native Americans that own the land were like, no, it's not enough money, blah, 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 anything. So whatever, Disney says to hell with you and goes down and buys a bunch of swamp in Florida. They get pissed off and decide, well, if you're not going to come, we'll just make our own damn theme park. And it's south of the border.
With blackjack and hookers.
Oh, my God. Dude, I'm telling you. Fans listening to the show, look it up, man, because I'm going to make it an effort for all three of us to get in a van and drive down there one day, so you can see south of the border and all its glorious, hateful splendor. I can't believe it hasn't been burned to the ground by now because it's bad. Like, and I think if it wasn't on like Indian reservation land, they probably would have torn it down by now. I don't know what the story is, but
oh my God.
And it's funny because when you drive by there, the twice I've been past this place on my way to elsewhere, I should have stopped, honestly, but it looked creepy and dirty and run down, and I didn't get shanked, so we just kept going. But there's only ever like 12 cars in that giant parking lot. Like, how many people
I don't know if I would trust any of those rides.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but it's open because it has business hours online and everything, and it's like a gift shop and a motel and the whole nine, man. I'm like, I'm not stopping it south of the border.
So you're dredging up a lot of memories from my childhood.
Right. Have you seen south of the border?
No. But it did remind me when I lived in Orlando. Everything revolves around Disney.
Sure. But I guess Disney got the last laugh, so
But sidetracking my story a bit. In school, when I moved there, a bunch of kids were like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm originally from Mississippi. One kid was like, "Oh, what theme park do they have in Mississippi?" And that was like a big, like, they don't have theme parks, like kind of thing.
It wasn't like a Jim Crow theme park or something.
To be fair,
one of the kids actually made the joke. Of course they don't have theme parks in Mississippi. What would they have? Plantation World?
Yeah.
To be fair.
Like, oh,
yeah, but those would be more like reenactment parks.
Okay. But the thing is, though, they're in Florida, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Georgia has a Six Flags.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Alabama
I
had Alabama Adventure, but there's Dollywood, and then I'm pretty sure there's something in Louisiana.
This kid had never left Orlando, so they didn't. They had no idea the world outside.
They haven't lived outside of the city limits. So.
Yeah. But yeah, we had moved away, And I really missed my friends because I had some really good friends when we lived there. Allie's actually met them over the years.
Yeah.
She got their stamp of approval, which was a big deal for them. I didn't care. I was marrying her anyway.
When I was 14, but that didn't work out.
But my parents, one year for Christmas, it was just an envelope under the tree. And opened it up, and it was, my parents were going to pay to send me to Orlando for spring break. They'd lined up everything with my friends. I was going to be staying with them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a blast. It really was.
So that was your best Christmas present ever? Like in all...
It ties with the Sega Genesis.
I'm a material... I love me some Sega.
But yeah, no, I had forgotten that was a Christmas present.
Right.
That's awesome.
Again, it's not everything you wanted, but everything you needed.
Yeah, and I'll remember that. I'll remember that trip for the rest of my life.
The one that stands out. It's two that stand out. Like my dad. Again, I've said it a million times. I could put Darth Vader in a lineup full of white midgets, and he's not going to catch it. Yeah, he's just not plugged into that shit. He doesn't care. He's just a very strict guy, and he's a lot easier going nowadays. Like old and senile. And I love my dad. He's great. But I think one Christmas he got me the first 4 issues of Wolverine, the Chris Claremont, Frank Miller.
Yeah,
the mini series, the cool cover with Wolverine on the front, like come on, with the claws, and I thought that was pretty. And it was autographed by Claremont.
Oh wow,
nice.
which was like a huge deal.
Yeah.
And sadly they burned up in a fire. But the one that really stands out is I really wanted the Tomahawk helicopter from G.I. Joe.
Oh,
it's had to have been like 87, 88, somewhere on there. I was probably 10 or 11 years old. That's the only thing I wanted from Santa Claus was that brown shit hook helicopter, the Tomahawk. And I remember Christmas morning, my parents, because we genuinely, I love my whole family, but we with each other constantly. We've been with each other since day one. Like, if you ever go to my house for Christmas, I go out of my way to find the most offensive, racist, homophobic, terrible shit you could give somebody. It's like more of a game than anything. And plus it's a gift, so you have to display it when you get home. So it's like you have to explain it to your friends when they come over why you've got, a black velvet oil painting of a topless chick with an afro. That's what I gave my brother-in-law one year, and it was awesome, man. It was like, I paid a lot of money for that painting, man. It was like a vintage store. But anyway, it's always something terrible and messed up, and like, who would even sell that to you, kind of a thing. But so I wanted this helicopter, and they deliberately gave it to my older brother, who didn't even like that shit, doesn't even play with Joe's. I mean, he was like 16, 17 years old and past toys at that point.
Yeah.
I never got past it. I mean, I'm 47, 48 years old now, and I'm still buying toys. I'm going to Walmart after we get done with this and go buy. Somebody brought Barnyard Commandos back out. I'm like, I got to get those.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know, right? The Cell Company. Apparently, they've got an end cap at Walmart. But anyway, so they gave my brother a Tomahawk, I think, just to piss me off, because I started crying. I was mad. I was like, what the Santa sucks, This is bullshit. And then, to my chagrin, they actually had bought me the Defiant space shuttle complex, which you would think this massive giant space shuttle G.I. Joe set would be awesome, but I was still pissed. I was like, that's neat, but I wanted the helicopter. I think a lot of it is my dad worked on helicopters in the Army, in the Air National Guard, and Cobras and Chinooks were, that was like, and that was basically what that helicopter was.
You gotta hand it to our parents, though, that, like, I can't think of a we didn't have a lot of money either, but I can't think of a Christmas to where my parents, to where I didn't get something I didn't absolutely love.
Right.
I mean,
definitely say
everything that I would like. Everything that I wanted,
later,
I would end up getting, and you gotta wonder now as you're, older, how much your parents had to bust ass to make a Christmas like that.
Like, all jokes aside, like they.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, my mother loves Christmas. I mean, he can attest. Josh can attest that my mother absolutely loves Christmas. She has a snowman room.
Right.
the guest bedroom in her
the
house.
guest bedroom is a snowman
And when
room.
I say it's a snowman room, I mean good luck getting to the bed or closet or dresser.
There's just
because of the
snowmen everywhere.
I think
the snowman bed and the snowman closet or the snowman dresser.
I think
because of the snowman.
as
But
I've gotten
she tried so hard to get everything that we
Oh, she's
wanted.
great.
So
She's great.
I never went with anything that I didn't absolutely
Would she
love
get Josh
or
a handy
appreciate.
for Christmas, or are you going to take care of that one?
No,
Okay,
no.
just
That's
curious.
on me.
Right.
I married him. That one's on
Right.
me.
She'd probably give her pointers.
Right, like
Probably.
you gotta lube him up and use both hands, baby.
Yeah.
Oh, terrible. No, it's. I'm going to hell.
No,
I think
no,
because-
no,
John,
See,
you're not
listen,
incorrect.
My mother.
Is she that doting?
I
She
was-
really go in there and give me stuff? This is like the
No.
like a story of a bad porn flick.
I was like 13 at that point in time.
Please
and
tell me she gave you instructions on how to give a hand job.
my mom
That is
no.
so rock and roll, dude.
But
That is
my
so
mom
metal.
was like, now when you get older, make sure you sleep with them first because you don't want to marry them and find out that they suck in bed.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
and I was 13, I think. Yeah.
I think my mom and I both, because we spent so many years in retail, have a disdain and hatred and a psychotic hatred of Christmas time.
I don't blame you.
It just, if you've worked in retail at Christmas, it really brings the worst out in people. And like, they
Yeah.
don't give a shit about your long hours and you're having to work Christmas Eve or having to work the day after, for God's sake, it's the worst.
But man,
So
how much of a Christmas miracle is it though when you get that one person who's just appreciative and like,
Oh,
I'm
sure,
so
they
sorry
come
about that
on.
asshole, and it's like, oh, thank you, that's almost as good as a cigarette. I can make it now.
Right.
Sorry.
I've had people give me weed when I was working at, like they'd have a doobie or something like, hey man, go out back and burn this when you get off tonight. That was kind of cool, or shit like that, or somebody try and tip you. I never took tips from anybody. I'm like, no, I'm getting paid to do a job. This is not a job that requires tips. You shouldn't have to pay me to be nice to you. I never did. I never have. All the years of Publix, all the years I worked at Toys R Us. No, it's fine. It's it is what it is.
Tips as a librarian.
Huh?
I don't understand. Yeah, people will try to tip me. I'm a librarian, and people will try to tip me.
Right. But I think because of all of our hatred and long years in retail of slubbing it, now that we're like kind of older and she doesn't work anymore, and I'm not in retail anymore. Obviously, like I said, I go out of my way to make things fun at Christmas, and I think she actually kind of looks forward to me with my brother-in-law and my nieces and nephew, and just really going out of my way to just be really a douche at Christmas time. I mean, we could do a whole episode maybe for like when we get our Patreon or something going, like where I could get my dad Homer and my brother-in-law and like my sister in here and Shanae's, God, they would tell you some stories. Dude, we could have a whole episode of just the shit I've given them over the past 10 years, and it would just be like, oh my God, like, where did you even find that in this day and age? And I just think it's funny. I don't mean anything by it. Of course, I love everybody. I don't care who you are, where you're from, which preferences are.
We all have our family traditions.
But I'm not going to treat them any different. But yeah, it just makes Christmas funny.
Yeah.
And again, generally, it's Brotato, my brother-in-law, generally gets it worse than everybody else because he's just such an easy, fun target.
I think my brother-in-law is the one who has fun with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some doozies this year. I probably, that's what I need to. If Christmas was already, I need to take photos so after Christmas I can post up. You'd be amazed what you can find on the internet these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you've got enough time and money, God willing, you can find something terrible. Trust me. So yeah, I guess Defiant would probably be the best Christmas present. The bummer part of that story, though, is we moved from Tucson, Arizona. My mom gave all that shit to the kid across the street.
No.
Everything. And I'm telling you, like I said, Mom was a manager at Toys R Us, so like every He-Man, all the Star Wars, the Turtles, the Transformers, you name it, I had it. Like, it was insane. I kept all that stuff immaculate. And for whatever reason, the last day of school, while I was at school, she decided she'd box all that stuff up in my room and give it to the kid across the street. And I was livid pissed. I was pissed. I couldn't believe she did that. I mean, I'm glad a little kid got it, but and I think he didn't. have a lot anyway. So looking back, that was nice, but that was my collection of He-Man. I mean, I had a Billy collection of Masters of the Universe, man. It was awesome. And, like, same thing with the Joes.
Mm.
And sure as shit, as soon as we got settled into our new house, I started all over again.
Yeah, I lost a lot of my toys when I moved from New England to Texas.
Josh lost a lot of his, but they're all upstairs in my attic now.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
a good amount of them.
No, I'll give him a good home.
Oh, I know.
They're somewhere up there in a tub or a tote somewhere. Well, I guess that about covers it, yeah?
Yeah.
What you want for Christmas and what's your best thing for Christmas?
And all the crazy shit in between.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's what we're known for.
Right.
That's what makes this absolutely amazing.